Electric bike, Carrera Vulcan electric bike, Carrera Vulcan E-Spec electric bike. How to replace this sensor. As you can see, you can get 2 screws in there just fine, but you can't get the bottom one in. You're going to need to remove the crank assembly. Yep, so it's a square taper bottom bracket on here, and you're going to need to get yourself a crank extractor. Here I have one here. It's for the both square taper and like ISIS drive, and you just simply screw this in. So let me. Okay, so there are threads on the tool, and there are threads inside here. This applies to any bicycle crank. It doesn't just apply to the electric Carrera bike or the Carrera E-Spec electric bikes, Carrera Vulcan, Carrera Crossfire E-Spec, whatever. It applies to anything with a square taper bottom bracket, or ISIS drive, or you know, any of those systems that use inboard bearings instead of outboard bearings. So you want to tighten this up. So we have our crank off. As you can see, you'd be pulling off the old broken sensor. I'm actually fitting the new sensor. I've just got to put that other screw in there. I realised you couldn't actually access it without removing the crank, which is a bit of a pain. You've got to make sure it sits in between here. This is the little stop for the sensor. Also make sure this disc rotates freely. If it doesn't, you'll need to buy a whole new crank assembly, because it means that bearing is totally hosed. But yeah, Carrera E-Spec crank set removal and sensor replacement.